Hey everybody, it's the Naturator here, back from a LEGO convention, Brickslopes. So Brickslopes is held relatively local to me. It was an awesome time. It was a weekend full of fun, lots of LEGO displays, LEGO activities, and I think best of all, it was fun to meet some other LEGO fans. I even got to meet some LEGO masters, saw Beyond the Bricks. I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the organizers and all of the workers and volunteers who made it possible. Without their idea and their hard work, it wouldn't have been possible. So I ended up showing my farm display, my biplane, as well as my Scorpion. So this was from Cody, one of the organizers who put everything together. So it's a little tile, he called it a token of appreciation from the Bearded Builders Guild. So I'm really grateful for that. I thought that was pretty neat. And then the main trophies are some large slopes like this. They're larger than that, they're brick built. So they put these on some of the other creations just as that they enjoyed the builds. They weren't the winners. So my biplane and my farm each got one of these guys, which I think is a pretty neat logo. So upon arrival, we got a few things. So there was a lanyard with name and then Brickslopes 2021 on it, which was cool. And then here is my brick badge. And then let's take a look at some of the things in the goodie bag. So inside the goodie bag, they had some pretty cool things. I think everybody got kind of a random poly bag. So I ended up with Pajamas Emmett. Now this was a recognized AFOL networking event by LEGO. Then Brickslopes, the overall theme this year was Castle and Adventure. So I've got the little wizard figure in this bubble pack. So it's got some custom printing. You can kind of see his torso there. He's got the Brickslopes logo on it. And there's his custom map there as well. Kind of fun. That kind of goes along with the shirt that I am wearing, which I think turned out pretty neat. I think they did a good job on the artwork there. And then here's one of the mosaic kind of bricks and the big bases for the mosaic, and enough studs to cover the mosaic. So the idea is you can go home and build your own mini mosaic, which is a pretty neat idea. And then this is just some pieces. I think it's from the Creator pirate set, most likely. I'm not 100% sure on that, but some kind of cool pieces. Maybe it's actually from Barracuda Bay. I'm not sure. And then here is kind of an advertisement for a LEGO Ideas set. So it's by Quinten Christensen, aka Xarquar. And it's an alternative for giving candy at Halloween. I actually think it's a pretty neat idea, so I'll link it down below. You can go ahead and go over and support that if you're interested. But he's got a whole bunch of just little builds, around 10 pieces each, that you could give kids for candy. In lieu of candy, I guess, on Halloween. And then as it was my first time, they did like a little orientation for first timers. And I got a little pack of dots. So pretty neat. Some interesting elements like the star embossed tile there. So after I kind of got my mock set up, I was hanging out with my brother and helped him set his mock up as well. The next thing we did was a little competition. And it was basically at 2 hours, and they had a whole bunch of bulk Lego in totes. So much Lego. So they had that there actually the whole weekend. They let like the kids play when the public came. But they had a challenge to use 2 of these cupcake parts in a build. And you had 2 hours. You had to kind of sort through all of the pieces and use 2 cupcake pieces in it in any color. And so I ended up making this ballerina. She's not the most graceful. I wouldn't give her that. But for 2 hours, it was really tough, actually. It was quite the stretch. The hardest part was actually sorting through the pieces and trying to find enough pink to make up the torso. And then you can see I kind of whiffed on the eyes. She looks just a little bit wonky-eyed. I just couldn't find any other eyes in that pile, so I would have liked to do matching eyes there, but I actually ended up winning that. You might you might be surprised, but even with the crazy eyes, I ended up winning that challenge. And so I got a Lego set as a prize for that. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at that towards the end. I think I'm actually going to revisit this creation and see what I can do when I have my whole collection. Kind of look and see like a before and after of what could have been. But I was pleased with how it turned out. It's relatively posable. So the neck moves on a Technic pin, and then the arms are also able to move relatively freely. So I'm excited to see what I can do. Stay tuned for a video in the next few weeks on a bit of a redesign. So another thing that they had a lot of were vendor booths. So I went and looked at a lot of vendor booths, and honestly, pretty pricey for most of the stuff, which I understand for reselling. But I was extremely excited to find the Dorito TIE Fighter, the classic Dorito TIE, aka the Sith TIE Fighter. And this was actually being sold for $30. So it is missing 2 figures. Retails for $80. Might get lucky and find it for $60 or $70. And I ended up finding it used there for $30. So I was stoked about that. So the 101 brick challenge was really neat. The prompt was to kind of bring 101 of your own bricks. So I brought this kind of craft box. So you can get a look into the pieces that I've selected here. So I went with a green as my base color, and then I used some white and grays as something that could be accents. The way that it worked is that the crowd actually watched while we built. And so at the beginning, they had the crowd choose, shout out some categories. And so somebody said aliens, you had airplanes, castle, a few other things. Somebody said a fruit tree. And so they ended up combining and making it an alien fruit tree. And the reason I took my fruit tree apart, after we built something, we actually let people from the crowd come up and build something. So a young kid came up and he built a snake. The prompt was animals. So here's a picture of his snake. I thought it actually turned out really well. Here we go. Here is kind of a recreation of my build. It should be pretty close. It won't be exactly what it was. So this is more or less what that build looked like. So we only had 10 minutes to build it. So I ended up with something kind of almost cactus-like, I would say. But I don't know, for 101 pieces, it's kind of cool. Yeah, I was pleased with how it turned out, and it was the crowd favorite, so able to win a prize for that. So next up, we had some pieces from a draft. So when you draft a Lego set, you get a bunch of the same set. This was a creator, just basic building set, one of the larger ones. So we got a bunch of the same set and sorted the pieces, and then you get to get a randomized order, and you get to pick all of the same pieces when it's your turn, and then you get to go around and pick again when it's your turn again. So for the next draft, we drafted Attack on the Burrow, so Ron Weasley's house. So I ended up with some of my last picks, a Ron Weasley figure and a figure of his father. And then some of the picks I was most excited about were all of these sand blue windows, as well as these 3x3 tan windows. Really excited for the buildings that can come out of that. Okay, so this is a bag that's actually from the medieval blacksmith set. So basically we did a team speed build. Well, we didn't win, but we got to keep some pieces from the set. So this is, we had a team of 6, so this is basically 1/6 of the set. We split it up into some different piles and then did a mini draft of that. So I ended up with some cool windows, one of the knights, a bunch of brown pieces, some greens, and just a few miscellaneous pieces. Most excited for the tiles. I ended up with most of the tiles from the set in brown. And then rounding out the miscellaneous parts, I ended up with 2 little baggies of these 1x1 gold pieces. They look very beautiful. So it's not the pearl gold. I think it's, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, but I believe it's the drum lacquer gold. And they are so shiny and neat looking. Very excited for those. Another very exciting part of the event was that there were 5 Lego Masters on hand for interviews. So it was fun to get to know them a little bit better and meet some of them in person. And Susan and Jen were kind enough to have a bunch of these really relatively large pictures from the show printed out, and they signed them. So I'm not sure what I'll do with that, but it was kind of cool of them to do. And then Brickslopes went ahead and made cards, kind of like trading cards for each of them. And there were a bunch of these going around. And so we've got Moto, we've got a signed Mark, signed Susan, Samuel Hatmaker. He was planning to make it, but I think he got sick, was the rumor, and so he wasn't able to make it. Another Susan. Here is a signed Moto, and another Susan, a signed Jen, and another signed Jen. At the end, they were kind of handing out a bunch of them and passing them down the row, so I ended up with more than I really needed just from that. Here's a signed one from Boone. And then here's Mel Brown from season 1. He was also supposed to be there, but if I heard correctly, his flight got canceled. Another thing that Mark and Boone were giving out was this nifty sticker of the Bearded Builders. So Mark and Boone there, I thought that turned out really awesome. So I really love that they did that. I think those are some neat keepsakes. Now, one more small thing that this was just sitting on the windshield of my car underneath the wiper blade. Somebody had left them on everybody's car. And it is handmade with love. It is a custom cape. That's kind of a blue wave pattern on it. Pretty interesting. You're welcome to check it out. It looks like Ashley's Fairy Tales online. So pretty cool. Okay, so now we'll look at a few of the sets that I got. First, we're going to look at the sets that I got for winning both of the building challenges. So for each of the challenges, I actually got a custom printed 1x8 brick. So I got a brick that says 101 bricks winner, and then another brick that says master build seed part winner. And I really love that, so I'll be able to add those to my name badge in future years. So in addition to the 1x8 tiles, I also won a set for each of those. So for the 101 bricks challenge, I won an Ninjago set. This is set 71747, the Keeper's Village. And I've never really been super into Ninjago. I've dabbled in it just a little bit, but that set looks pretty cool. It's got some cool like tiki stuff going on, some Islander stuff, so I'm kind of excited for that. For the Master Build Seed Part Challenge, I won the Wonder Woman 84 set. So there's the front, kind of a crazy box. And then on the back, you can see it's got a lot of shiny gold stickers, I believe. And then the shiny gold Wonder Woman and the Cheetah Lady. So those should be pretty awesome. Another couple of fine people that I ended up meeting was Beyond the Brick. And they hooked me up with a couple of their nifty stickers. So shout out to those guys. It was awesome to see them there and to see them in person. So they also did a few other challenges where they let you keep a Lego set, so they did a blind build. The blind build set was this dinosaur creator set, the Mighty Dinosaurs. I have a few copies of this set, but I think there's a lot of cool pieces in it. And they also did a build in a bag, so this is a smaller set. The McLaren. So all that was built in this bag. Not the larger McLaren, but the little one. I think it was a promotional. They did a speed build. So I actually got third in this one. But it was a speed build of the diving yacht. So that one's a pretty neat set as well. Excited to have that. And then they did one more. It was a team blind build. I did it with my brother. And they did the creator set with the lion in it. And I actually let him keep that. I think he's going to trade me something that's worth half of the value or something. In addition to all of the prizes from the games, they also had raffle prizes where you could win sets. So I got, I think, 4 more sets. So the first one, I actually really love this set, and I actually have a copy of it. It is the Quantum Realm Explorers. So I'm pretty excited to have another copy of that. I love the canopy and just the way that it looks. I also love the Ant-Man figure and the Wasp. I also got a raffle prize of the police helicopter transport. This is kind of an interesting one to me. It's not a set that I'm super excited about, but it does have that flying helicopter, which is kind of a one-piece thing with the ripcord on it. I'm interested to see how well that works. Another set I ended up with is the pop-up party bus from the Lego movie. This is a set I'm not sure I would ever buy on my own, but it is something that I've looked at before and thought, wow, that is really an interesting build. And cool to see all of the fun colors in it. The teal, the coral, the pinks, and the blues. I'm excited to build this one. It should be kind of fun. And another set, kind of rounding out what I ended up with here today, is this crazy looking dots set. So this is a dots, I think they said it was something from Walmart, kind of a Walmart Christmas exclusive. But it's like the dots starter kit. I don't know exactly what it's called. I guess, oh, there it is, Ultimate Designer Kit. But it's got a few different dots things in it. So in the middle there, it has got some bracelets. And then it has a couple dots storage containers on either side with some different dots packs. Go ahead and let me know which of these sets is your favorite, what I should start on first, by commenting down below. I'd love to chat with you guys and interact with you guys a little bit more. Huge shout out to the Brickslopes organizers. I'll see you guys next.